Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tinkers Academy video. And I'd like to just say welcome. This is an update video on the quantum upgrade service, and I've got Philip on the line to kind of explain some of the new things that are happening, clarify how some of the services work. So this is a video to the upgrade community, and just kind of just jump right in. So first thing I want to do is, for those of you who are not familiar with Philip yet, Philip Samor von Holzendorf is the healer. He's a healer and the founder, owner, operator of Quantum Upgrade. He's also the same for Layla Labs and also Layla Quantum Tech. So this is Philip, and good morning, Philip, and thank you for joining me.
Hi Kay, good morning. I'm looking forward to our conversation here today.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much because there's been a lot. It's been you launched the Quantum Upgrade at the beginning of October, and we did a launch video. Then we did another follow-up Q&A. Links will be for those videos and below for those anyone who's interested in watching. The first Q&A was just all of the questions we got for the first 2 weeks, and we just banged through and answered them from the Telegram chat group. And then so this is going to be an update as a follow-on. Again, it's like basically it's almost 1 month later, and boy, what a busy month, right?
Indeed.
Hard to believe it's only been a month. And so yeah, it's literally, I think it's 1 or 2 months, but it's we basically wanted Philip wants to share with you all of the happenings of Quantum Upgrade, and so we're going to go ahead and do that. But before we do that, though, let me read the disclaimer. For all of those who need to know about a disclaimer, and then we'll jump right into the content. So, neither Quantum Upgrade nor the Tinkers Academy recommend or endorse any specific tests, physicians, procedures, opinions, or other information that may be mentioned in this video. Reliance on any information appearing and discussed in this video is solely at everyone's own risks. Statements made have not been evaluated by the EFSA or FDA or any governmental derivatives thereof. Quantum Upgrade products and products that Quantum Upgrade may represent are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. So let's jump right in. So the first thing you wanted to kind of share with us, and I'll just let you run with it, is there's been changes, right, since the day you launched Quantum Upgrade. There's been changes on the functionality of the My Account page. So you want to just kind of talk about that?
Yes, so that's based on what we've seen initially and also feedback from the members in the Telegram group where we asked, hey, what can we still optimize and what additional functionalities would you like? And there have been already several that we don't even need to mention because probably everyone is aware of those already, that it's mobile optimized now and things like that. But certain things like automated setting of nighttime. Some people were wondering that they couldn't set the nighttime anymore, but that was really based on customer feedback where they said, well, so if I set the daytime and so why do I need to set the nighttime, right? And then indeed, that should happen automatically, and now it does. So you only need to set your daytime, and your nighttime will automatically set based on that, right? So it makes it even easier.
Okay. And then
And
let's see.
then
I'm going to go ahead and move back to and then the other one is the pause button.
that's the pause button. Yeah, so the pause button in general that we even included that was based on a couple of folks initially that they had a lot of detox reactions. They didn't have really any experience with quantum energy so far, and that they asked if they could pause it at nights, and then we said, of course, yes, you can. So we added the pause button, so where you manually click pause, and then if you wanted, and then within 5 minutes, the service would stop basically, and then they could manually unpause it for it to start again. Now,
Okay.
there was also the question, could we set that in a more automated fashion that it can then
On
unpause
and off, yeah.
again at a specific time, and that's what we also implemented, and it should work properly now,
Okay.
hopefully.
So let's show everybody how to get to the pause because this is the service for you, and this is for myself. And so these are the settings for you, but the pause button's not on this page, right? So I forgot how to get to the pause button.
No,
Um,
the pause button is actually right
it is
there.
there? Where is
If you
that?
scroll down a little bit,
I thought it was on a
it
different
should
page.
be.
It's on a different page, right?
No, actually, it should be
Yeah, I
right there.
forgot to
Well,
click.
this
I
is
haven't clicked update yet lately. Forgot to click update. I made a change. Okay, so here we
Let
go. Okay, so
me
I click on my active. This is why I want to view it. This is my field for you. And oh, there it is. Okay, sorry, I had wrong page. All right, so I forgot to click update. But that's a real important thing, everybody. I think that a lot of people forget, right? I made a change, and if you don't click update, you don't get the, yeah. So you got to click update, and then now it's turned on, and now it's running. All right, so now you've got the pause button up here, and
yes.
so it just says pause. So if I have to manually pause it, but you're saying
Yeah,
that
and you can show it right now. You can literally click it because
click
as
it.
long as you don't update it, nothing will happen. And then if you click it again, it's basically so now it
Okay,
would be paused. If you click it again,
so okay.
it's unpaused.
But I have to click it and then hit update, and then that tells the system to implement my change, right? But then we've
Yes,
got
correct.
okay, but you've got this new button which I just noticed, which is nighttime pause, and that's what you're
Correct.
talking about, right?
Yes, that that's for people if
Uh,
they
yeah, I just want to turn it off,
if,
so yeah, there you
and in the morning it would be turned on automatically. So
go. Oh, okay.
that's
So if I want to just turn it off at night, I just click nighttime pause, hit update, right, like I'm doing right now, and then it's going to
yes.
then pause it just for tonight or every night.
No, that would be for every night then, because the settings are for all nights. It doesn't distinguish between Monday, Tuesday, Friday, etc. So
Okay, so it's going to stay paused every single night, but when the daytime comes, it's going to be pumping 600, right, at 7 to 7.
correct.
Okay.
Yes, and then you can just you click it again and click update, and then it won't happen anymore. So however you like it.
So again, turn off nighttime pause right now, click update, and then nighttime pause is turned off. Okay, okay, that's a great, I love that feature. That was a really good idea. All right, so if you want to pause it like until you want to turn it back on, use the top button. But if you want to turn it off at night, then click this. Always remember to hit update to implement your change, and then it will continually pause it at night until you say stop and you want it turned back
Yes.
on. Okay. All right, great. That's a
Yes,
great.
and at this point, just as an information, if there's anyone new right now watching, so and most people probably do it because we really give a notice, but the service does not start until you have updated your time zone the first time. So you need to go into this my account, my subscription, and then pick your time zone
Okay.
where you're currently at, and then click update, and then only then, after about 5 minutes, the service starts. And again, we tell people in an email, but you know,
Is that this is are you talking about this time zone right here?
yes.
Because I just realized I forgot to set it. Okay. All this time I'm in American New York. Well, I'm in American New York, but I'm so you
Well,
would
but
be
you've
like
updated the service in general, so you
okay.
should have been on some time zone, right? There
Right,
was some
yeah.
time
Yeah,
zone set.
I'm on Eastern, but I'm actually Central. I just noticed that I got the wrong I did the wrong one on me. So I'm US
Yes,
Central. So now I hit US Central, click update. Okay. Yeah, good
correct.
point. Thank you for pointing that
But
out.
it still worked for you. It still worked for
Yeah,
you
I'm just an
because you
hour
hit
off.
update beforehand. Yes. Mhm.
And, oh, by the way, daylight savings is next. I think well this weekend. So for
Yeah,
daylight,
Sunday.
that doesn't affect anything, right? As long as you've got if this is
No,
your time
because
zone, daylight savings is irrelevant because you're still in the same time zone and your hours are still the same, right?
correct. I think
Okay.
there's just yeah. I think that won't change anything.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So the next one is mobile optimization.
Yeah, so that, it's just something where in the beginning when we launched on mobile, there were just some things that didn't look that great, and some words were like on top of each other, and so that's been fixed. And I mean, for a while now, but at least we wanted to mention it.
Okay. All right. So it looks better on mobile. There's no app, right? Now we'll talk about that in a second. But that's when you say mobile, you're talking about mobile browser, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, the app will be launched. I think we'll have it in January,
Okay.
pretty safely, because the thing is with the app development, and you'll certainly know that it doesn't make any sense for us to build out the apps while we're still working and implementing new functionalities. So that really needs to happen beforehand. And I think we're almost through. Like there's another 2 weeks of development with things that we're implementing, roughly give or take. And then after that, hopefully we won't have any more change requests. And then we'll start really building out the app.
Okay, you know you're never going to not have change requests, right?
I know, yeah, I
Change
know. But
requests is
just the
yeah.
most fundamental at least, that people really asked for, that we wanted to get that in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, exactly. I work in an IT environment, and there's three things in life that are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and change requests.
Yes,
Yeah, so
that is
you're always
very
going to go.
true.
Okay, so you're gonna, and then okay, so since we're on this, you want to just talk about this. So you're developing it for the iPhone and the Android, and you're looking at a quantum upgrade app coming out in January. Is that kind of the goal at this stage?
Yes, that's the
Cool.
goal. And again, it will be for both of those platforms. And I think it'll be, it's already now convenient, and just a hint, you can click on remember me, and then you basically stay logged in. I
Yeah,
think maybe
yeah.
like once a week or once every 2 weeks, the system throws you out. I don't know why that happens, but then you have to log in again. But usually you can stay logged in, and that's already very convenient. But obviously, an app is even easier to deal with. And then if we're talking in the future to also change frequencies and stuff like that, we just thought that's much more customer friendly.
Okay. No, that's great. That sounds good. I look forward to that. Okay, so let's see. We're talking about that's mobile, and then now you've got an automated unlocking of higher booster levels. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I think that will be exciting. So there will be a bar where and you can go to that page again. Where,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. And scroll higher a little bit, please, and a little bit more. Yeah, almost there. Yeah. And then underneath this green big bar there,
Uh-huh.
there will be additional bars
Okay.
that will show you, how long have you been,
Oof.
subscribed basically, and it will show you how many days are left until you will be automatically
Oh.
unlocked for the 1,200 booster levels, which at this point is set for 90 days. And then after 120 days total, you will be unlocked for the levels 1,000 and 1,100 for the regular day and night time. Where I don't recommend it for night times, but at least for the daytimes, you could set that basically for your whole day. And yeah, and then possibly as we move forward, there will be other things that can be added or will be added. And certainly none of us know what happens in a year, right? Or 2 years, because the energies are changing, and the consciousness levels are increasing, and they're
Yeah.
increasing quite rapidly. So it may well be that we'll have those, I don't know, 1,200 booster levels already after 30 or 60 days in 1 year or 2 years. So we wanted to build this so that we can at least have that feature, but the actual values, we'll need to see how we keep up with those. But
Okay.
right now, as of right now, those are very, very strong values.
So when can we, as the user group, expect to see this change in the way they manage boosters?
I think within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. So let me just to clarify again, we're going to be able to basically set them like we do setting regular, right? You'll be able to turn them on and off with a timer and all
Yes,
of
they'll
that,
be
and
just
set
added to
different.
the
Okay.
scale. So just your scale basically will
Okay.
have more options. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then okay. So this will be a lot more customizable, I guess is the best way to say it, in a few weeks. So look forward to that. And by the way, since I'm here, I just want to clarify something. We get questions in the chat group quite often when they click on here and they see three numbers. So just be aware that the top number was what it's set to right now. All right.
Yeah.
And the reason that it repeats is because these are your choices. These two bottom ones are your choices. So if I were to just say, oh, I want 1,100, you see how it changes now. And now it's 1,100. And then I guess, well, yeah, I didn't hit update, but these are your two choices. Okay. So that's why you've got it set, that's why it repeats. Now, since we're here, if I wanted, there is an option to get a 1,200 Hawkins booster. And is that still available? Because a couple of months ago or whatever, we had to email support to have 1200 added. Is that something that's going to be put into the change you're going to do, or is that still something that if I want to be able to have 1200 as an option, I need to email for?
So everyone will be automatically unlocked for the 1,200 booster levels
Perfect.
after 90 days.
After 90 days. Okay. All right. And then for the new folks, you want to explain why? I mean, let's talk a
So
little bit
yeah,
about
so what?
boosters because there's lots of
Yeah.
people in there that are like, I want to boost every hour, and it's like, no, that's not a good idea. So, and so how what is your recommendation on the best way to use these boosters?
Yeah. So first of all, it's important to understand more and stronger isn't necessarily better because it really depends on the individual and everyone is literally different. That's why we also can't say, well, everyone should do a 1,200 booster um, once a day or something like that. It's impossible to say because it's different for each individual. So what is right for you is different for me and is different for crew and is different for someone else, and everyone needs to just play around and find the right um, levels for themselves. Start with the default levels in general. If you're totally new to this, do that for a couple of days or so, and then at some point play with the boosters so that you can feel this extra boost of energy, and you will feel it at some point. You will feel it. There's some people that are really hard in their physical that have a very hard time feeling energy, but with the boosters, playing with those, at some point you will feel it, because you can fine tune your senses further. And don't start with the highest booster, start with the lowest booster at first, and then just see how you do. Drink extra water, and then over time you can just play around with this. And if you want to do two boosters a day, you go do two boosters a day. But doing it like all the time, really, those are very, very high vibrational levels, and we underestimate that because it's not like, electricity is something you feel. If there's a lot of like physical things that you feel so strongly. This is subtle energy. So a lot of people have issues feeling it, but that doesn't mean it's not working. It's actually working extremely powerfully, and it can bring up stuff. So if you're overdoing it, you can run into detox effects. You can run into situations where just so many inner processes are started that, I don't know, there's a childhood trauma, for example, that comes up, and I don't know, you're suddenly running into big issues with your best friend and with your wife and with your kids all at the same time, because it's all related to the same issue that, you know you're having to work through something and transform something in regards to relationships that's really within you, and now it's surfacing everywhere suddenly, and you feel maybe miserable for a little bit because suddenly you're having all these issues that are coming up in your relationship. But what's actually happening is that an inner process, an inner topic that hasn't been resolved yet is surfacing. And so if we work with a quantum upgrade, this energy supports the transformation of these things that I call, it's the stuff that we have in our backpacks and the that weigh on us. And some of these things release on their own and transform on their own because it's literally just the subconscious working with the energy to do that. But then there are things and topics that need us to actually see them and to recognize them, and then with an understanding and awareness to release and transform them. That everyone has those. I have those too. I still know, even today I have those things. There's, it's not all the time or something like that, but hey, maybe every other month there's something where I feel like, damn, I don't feel good, and like, what is this? And then it stays for a few days, and then I notice by not feeling good, there's something deeper. So I try to go deeper, try to figure out, okay, what is it?
Yeah.
What's coming up? And then as you're doing that through that process, that's when you release it. But those things, you don't want all of those things to bubble up at the same time because that can be nerve wracking, right? It's just too much.
Oh yeah.
Let's be nice and loving to ourselves. And that's what I'm saying. Those are the types of things that people sometimes underestimate,
Yeah.
And that's certainly what would happen if you set a 1,200 booster in the beginning, um, all the time. And that's why we also have this restriction, after 90 days, you'll be unlocked. If there's someone that has already had, two infinity blocks for a long time and is very used to it, had put his picture in the block for many times. If you want to get unlocked earlier, yeah, keep sending an email to support, and they'll unlock you, of course. So we
Yeah.
don't want to not have these exceptions.
Yeah, that. Thank you for that. That's a really good explanation of what the boosters are. I think there's a lot of misconception from what I'm reading in terms of quote boosters. People think of it like an energy drink, but a quantum energy
Which
drink.
it is also.
It is
Which,
also
yeah,
right, but yeah,
yeah, that's the other side of the coin, and I'm
yeah,
glad you're bringing it up, because certainly I don't want people to think, well, this is just to, bring up your stuff, because that's not the case. It really is. I mean, we've had this guy tell us that he drove, I guess, 21 hours with his car from West Coast to East Coast,
wow,
and he would set like one booster after another, and damn, he stayed awake. He stayed completely focused like the whole time. And he said, like, I'm not even getting tired. This is crazy. This is amazing, right? But he overdid it. And he
yeah,
actually got sick after that when he arrived, like I think a day later, he was like sick for 2 days. And I could have told him beforehand, like, you're overdoing it because you're just putting too much onto your system.
yeah,
But I mean, if you set a booster or two or even three, if you have something going on, I do that sometimes too. Like I feel exhausted in the afternoon and I still have to do stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll just set a booster. It gives me more energy, gives me more focus. I can get stuff done, and that's what you can use it for. And while we're at it, maybe if you're interested, I'm going to give people some ideas on how to leverage the boosters.
oh yeah, please, because yeah, I think that's the booster seems to be the one thing that everybody has a lot of questions about. So yeah, please keep going.
Yeah. So here's what I do, for example, and what I would recommend to others. So if you set a booster, that means you have a lot more energy available than in your usual settings, and that energy wants to be used, right? So and what it is doesn't really matter. I mean, you can go into a deep meditation if that's what you want to do, and that's what you feel you want to do. Another thing you can do is write a list of the one, two, or three things that you've put off. We all have these things, right? There's some stuff that needs to be done and we're not quite doing it. And it starts to drag on our system because it's sort of this block. It's blocking us on a certain level because we're not getting it done. We know we need to get it done, and it's like hanging there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
write those on the list and then tell yourself, okay, I'm going to set this booster now, and I'm going to start working on this list. And then you set your booster and you start working on it, you'll see how amazingly that will flow. You're going to get it done. You're fully into it. And there's so much energy that's released and it makes you feel really good. And you got the power to do that. I don't know. And if it's just, cleaning up a certain room that you haven't cleaned up for a long time, whatever it may be. And so those are some things where you can leverage this specific energy, or if there's something you're in self-discovery mode right now, and there's something you just, you wanted to always write down your thoughts, your creative thoughts on something, then go do it. Just, set the booster and go do it. But it doesn't mean you need to be very active. You can be in a meditation or something like that, or you do sports and you want to have this booster. So those are certain ways on how you can leverage it. But just know you have a lot more energy available, so you can actually really leverage it with intention.
okay. So not only just placing your intention by creating this list, but would you recommend too at that moment in time? Let's say at noon today, I just really want to get a document finished that I have to turn in or something, but I've been procrastinating. So would it be just not only just writing it down, but at noon when noon comes up, then I just kind of center myself and then connect to that intention with my consciously, just saying, okay, I'm going to do it. I mean, do you have to be actively involved, or just writing it down and setting your boosters good enough? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
I
I
mean,
think, yeah, one leads to the other, I think, because
perfect.
if you're setting the intention that you're gonna, work on this list of the three things,
Hmm.
you're
Okay.
most likely actually also going to follow through.
Okay. All right.
So, and then you're obviously the action needs to be taken. And that's one of those things in general about the quantum upgrade that, I also mentioned in the interview with Ariana Sommer. It's, we are still the drivers of our life. We're the co-creators, and that needs to stay that way. So if I eat bad. I only eat junk food. I never do fitness. I don't go out into nature. I just sit on the sofa, watch TV, and eat junk food all the time, and that's pretty much all I do. And then I set the and I'm in bad shape and bad health because of it. If I set the quantum upgrade, and then I keep doing the same stuff I've been doing, I cannot expect that my life will significantly change. I will have the energy available to start initiating these changes, but I still need to do certain things, right? Certain things will happen through the energy on its own, but we're still conscious beings that need to take action, and we can also decline, right, to do things. But
Right.
I think we're called to maintain the drivers of this and not give up the responsibility to a service or something. No, the service is a tool, but we work with the tool, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I think our general frame of reference as humans, we've been kind of brainwashed into thinking that you need to do something, take a pill, and the pill will do whatever the pill's supposed to do. But quantum energy is not a pill. It's consciousness. It's the energy of your own consciousness, tying to the universal field, right? I mean, you have to be engaged with it. You have to I guess, want it. And okay, yeah. I mean, I get it. You have to be a participant in your own change. It's like
Yes,
if
and
you take a Tylenol, the Tylenol is going to do what the Tylenol does, right? But if you set up all this time and effort and sign up for the service, and you don't put the energy into participating in the change, it's not going to happen, which is completely different than a chemical. So is that a fair assessment? That's how I look at it.
yes,
You have to
yes,
participate.
to an extent,
Yeah.
absolutely, to an extent, absolutely. Certain things again happen regardless, right? They, like things with the blood, with the heart rate
Yeah. Yeah.
variability,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
even that
physical.
you feel more energy. Those things, they happen, and there's no placebo effect, right? So whether you believe in it or not, whether you participated
Yeah.
in it or not, you will have it. But what this does is that your own consciousness is getting more into the state of, okay, so now what in my life, now what's the like next step, what's the right thing for me to do. And if we then start blocking that, that's not going to help us. So that's the moment where we need to
Yeah.
participate. That's where we
Right.
can initiate change and all of that. And yeah, so
Yeah.
that's pretty much how I would explain it.
No. Yeah. That's great. That's perfect. Thank you for expanding on that. Um, Now let's see. Next one here is the share function. Um, so this is a new thing that's coming up, right? And is it going to come up in a couple of weeks?
Well, I
Or
was under the impression that it's already live,
oh,
but it
I
may
haven't.
or may take another week or two indeed, but it definitely within the next 2 weeks, this will be available. Let me provide an update in the group in the next couple of days once I double check with the tech team. But so this is the function that people ask for. Let's say a dad signs up, himself, his wife, and his two kids, and but he doesn't want to manage it for the kids. The kids should manage it on their own, right? So then, but he doesn't want the kids to just see all of his subscriptions. Or maybe it's his
Or mess with
brother-in-law,
his.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now there's a functionality that they can also sign up. He can basically share it with them,
Oh, okay.
and then they will get access, but only to this one subscription that is for them. They won't see anything else that the dad has, and also won't be able to make any account changes and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I think that's a good
wow.
feature that
That's
people wanted to have.
yeah. That is, that's fantastic because that's the biggest question is like, I want to help my friend, but how do I don't want to give her my password. So how does she get to set her own settings all the time without involving me? Perfect. Okay, that's great. That's going to be really helpful. New feature coming up. So, okay, so be on the lookout for that feature. That's great. Good to hear that one. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to talk about today was what's coming up with the frequencies. Get a lot of questions about this um, in terms of adding frequencies to the quantum upgrade service. So, um, we're looking at what, December to January. And so, how is that going to work?
Yes, so I think we're looking at January, but we're yeah, it may be December, to be honest. And the way it's going to work is that there's going to be like an extra product that you can purchase that I don't have any details about yet because we don't know how many frequencies will be part of that. And I don't know the cost of that. We want to make it affordable, but there's certain things we need to look at. And so this, but technically it has to be an additional product, otherwise it technically wouldn't even work. And then you will have, let's say there's 8 frequencies in this frequency product, if you will, then that's pretty much appears as a drop down in your my account, what we looked at earlier together.
Hmm.
That's where you will have um, frequencies
Okay,
and a
so
drop down, and you
yeah,
can pick one frequency, only one at a time, obviously.
okay.
And some user asked, well, would it be possible for you to build it in a way where we can set a specific frequency for the daytime and one for the nighttime? So
Yeah.
now we're also trying to implement that. So I think that will be possible, that feature. And then you can say, okay, well, I want the bio-based frequency for, or the heel frequency for the day, and I want the inner peace frequency for the night, as an example.
Okay.
And then certainly you will have the option to also turn the frequency off again.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's yeah, something that everyone's. I see so many people asking about this. So you'll be able to customize it just like a booster and add it to your day and night. So, like if I set a frequency for heal and I just say daytime, then it's going to run this like right here. It's going to run all day for these hours, and then the nighttime one. Okay, cool.
Correct.
That's gonna be great. Okay, that's coming up too. Really exciting. Let's see. We talked about cell phones, so let's talk about this next. Was the studies? You've got some updates on some of the studies that you're running of the upgrade service, and I'm excited to hear about that. This is where I really pique my interest. But so, what are you finding now?
Yeah, so we're working currently on a live blood analysis study that's happening in Austria with animals. So this is very, very exciting
Yeah.
actually, but it's also difficult to do because you can imagine that, animals, they're not especially keen on getting, a drop of their blood taken
Yeah.
and things like that. And
Exactly.
so it's a lot of things, and that your daughter is in that field, so it's interesting. But there's a very, very experienced vet in Austria, a quite famous one, and she is running this study. So together with the Besa Institute, so they're basically collaborating on this project. And yeah, I have no idea how it's going, and I don't know when it's going to be completed. But my guess is it will be completed this year,
Hmm.
and that we will then also be able to share those results, and that's going to be very interesting.
So that's
And so,
okay.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask. So it's kind of like you've got the quantum upgrade service for dogs, and so now you're actually running studies on how that affects the dogs.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Even though it's not going to be just dogs,
Oh, okay.
I think they have cats as well, and there may even be horses involved. So, yep.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
yeah.
I just know the rough with these studies. We only usually know the rough things that they're going to test, and everything else is really always up to the institutes to do. And then we're just waiting, holding pattern, and then we'll hopefully have good results.
Okay. Yeah, and I got to ask you right now because people ask all the time, but is there a time frame for adding cats and horses and livestock to the
Well,
upgrade
cats
service?
are already
Are they
possible
on there now?
now. So,
Oh, you added it.
yes,
Okay. Okay. So cats are already on the service. So now it's just a matter of livestock or other pets, right?
yes, and I don't even know if we will do it or when,
Okay.
but yeah. So if there's yeah, I think maybe horses is definitely something we could do, and then with I don't know chickens, that would require actual I think the names of the chickens, and if they really have names and things like
Uh-huh.
that, may be a little bit more complicated.
Okay. I can imagine. Okay. Okay. So now we've got this other study, ATP production and cell regeneration. Um,
Yes, that's an interesting one. So that's actually Ian Mitchell works with a lab, and that lab is focused on fibroblast testing, fibroblast. Um, um, they look at certain things like cell generation,
mhm.
ATP production, all of that with actual human cells, whether it's lung cells or skin cells, like all those different types of cells. And that's pretty much all what that lab does. And I can already give here a quick overview of the ATP production test that was just run last week, and within the first 2 to 4 hours, the ATP production increased by 6% in the charged cells, which
Wow.
6% may not sound like a lot, but it actually is quite a lot, and it's significant. It's a big difference to the normal, and ATP production is something that athletes, for example,
Yeah.
pay a lot of attention to, right? So you need to
Right.
have a great ATP production. And so this is just another way of showing what actually happens. And this ATP production is basically the energy production of the cell.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
the energy that you have extra available as a system. It's then, okay, does the cell itself then even increase its energy production, right? That is the question. And the answer so far is yes. There have to be more tests because we want to look at longer time frames also, and certainly more tests. I think right now those was like four samples so far.
Mhm.
So we want to do more samples, and then the cell regeneration. It's still something ongoing.
Okay. And so this is for the upgrade service for you, right? So if somebody were to subscribe right now,
Yes.
I guess if you subscribe for the U, then what you're seeing right now in the lab and the studies ongoing is that it actually does, when turned on, uh, increase cell ATP production, which is,
Yeah, and
basically,
for the pets
and
too,
pets as well,
because you
right? Yeah.
can
Yeah.
definitely make that. I mean, I'm making that assumption
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
If
All
this
animals.
works
Right.
as well for ATP production,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
should
we're all
work for
mammals.
animals too.
Yeah, we're all mammals. That's
Yeah.
that's amazing because ATP production is typically a bioelectric functionality of electrons hitting the mitochondria and the chondria, generating energy for the cell. So that's pretty cool that you're actually seeing
Yes.
quantum energy manifest in the physical reality, in the realm, right? So wow, that's going to be a killer study. Look forward to reading that one. But yeah, that's wow, that's pretty amazing. What about brainwave testing? I mean, what's who's doing that, and how's that coming?
So there's going to be hopefully a regular brainwave testing going on. We don't know yet who will do that. There's a guy actually out of the Telegram group
Yeah, I
who's
saw that
working in that
post.
field.
Right.
Yeah, he had reached out, and so if he's open to running some tests, we're definitely going to do that. But there's going to be an actual study that will involve brainwaves as one of the aspects they'll be looking at. I cannot say right now who does that, but it's a larger company that's in the biohacking space. They have a product themselves that's pretty phenomenal. It works really well, and they're currently exploring with us to make their product even better if the quantum upgrade is added to that. So that's something that will be conducted most likely in November and or December.
Okay. So that's
With I
that's
think
the
they'll
and that's brainwave, or is that also the professional athlete study? Because
no that's a separate one. The athlete
okay, so
study
just
that's the
okay,
brainwave testing. That's it's
all
going to
right,
be heart rate variability. It's going to be brainwaves with
okay,
EEG, and I think a third and possibly a fourth uh, aspect that they will look at. But at this point, I can't share who the partner is,
Okay, yeah,
but I will at that time.
yeah.
And
Okay, so
then the professional athlete study would be the next one that's going to be happening next year in
uh-huh.
Austria, and it will look at things like increase in performance, re, you know, how do you say that? Faster recovery times will involve blood and things like that, and possibly even ATP production as well.
Okay. All right, that's awesome. Any plans for doing like a D-timer test to see if the service has any effect on clotting?
Yes, we're working on that currently with the clinic in Florida,
Ah, okay.
and they're right now actually finding patients for that. So, and the tricky part though is that they need to find patients that already have a bad D-dimer test to begin with, because if you already have great D-dimer levels, there's nothing to show, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Your
already
test would show you're
improved.
fine. Yeah.
So the D-dimer wouldn't show anything, right? Because that's what the D-dimer actually show, the microblood clotting. And if you don't have microblood
Right.
clots, then it
Okay.
can't show anything. So it's pointless. And so they're finding these patients right now. And I don't know where that stands, but yeah, hopefully they'll have enough patients relatively soon. And then I would guess that sometime in Q1 we can have
Okay.
results.
All right. That's all pretty amazing. And I just want to say, for everyone listening to this video that, you're not going to find very many, if any, companies in this space, right? That spend so much time, energy, and money to conduct study after study after study to back up the claims that are made about the product. And I just want to applaud you, Philip, because it's the reason I love you. That's the reason I love Layla. Uh, because there's proof. I mean, I'm really right brained. I'm very methodical and I'm very right brained. And I bought in from the beginning because of your dedication to saying, "Hey, this is real. Let me prove it to you." And just all of this. I mean, who else does this level of studies? I mean, I don't know of anybody else that does, other than I mean, people trying to sell medical devices, right? But yeah, it's just amazing, and the results are unbelievable. But I applaud you. This is great. I'm really looking forward to. And then, of course, anyone who's interested, there already have been studies. These are not the first ones. So, as an FYI, if you go into the Quantum Upgrade website, there's a section there of the research that's been done and the original studies that were done prior to launching the product, and the great enhancements in blood and all that other stuff that already back up the claims. And these are just more studies, so it's amazing. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's that one, and then the last one here you wanted to kind of announce to the community is that you're launching a trauma release product as part of the Quantum Upgrade service. Could you kind of describe that? Because I think that's something that is also brought up a lot in the community as to how do they work with trauma, and I think I don't know of any human being that hasn't had any kind of trauma, so I think this applies to all of us, and I'm personally really interested. So, what is this going to be about?
Yep. So this is going to be probably added to Lila Q as well as to Quantum Upgrade, because it's going to be probably technically working separately from the Quantum Upgrade. But so we haven't figured that out. It's not as easy to just implement it. And I think it'll be rather towards the end of Q1 when we can launch it. And so the backstory is that there's a pretty famous healer from Austria that I've gotten to know at some point, and his sole and main focus since about 20 years has been to work on traumas with people. So and any type of trauma, it doesn't really matter what type. And he's able to basically transform within 30 to 45 minutes with some tech that he's built and his um, specific abilities. There's a specific process actually to go through, and it's not that it's just solved and transformed like in the just in the energetic in the subconscious, but no, he literally takes us into the consciousness as well, where the person realizes what happened, why it happened, and why it was important, and now that it's changing, so much energy is being released because this trauma is indeed solved, and you literally feel this influx of energy suddenly because this trauma is gone. So it's very profound work that he's doing. And then we spoke and we actually connected what he's doing with what we're doing, and it was almost as if these two like energies like loved each other like incredibly, and it's now possible to do this within 5 minutes.
Wow.
And we tested that over and over again, and it really applies to any type of trauma, and which is very profound. And by the way, I mean, it doesn't need to be this huge trauma that we're aware of. We had a car accident and my mother died in it and I survived it. That's like a very tough trauma that we're still aware of. But there's hundreds of other types of trauma that we have, from childhood, could be even
Yeah.
past life traumas, and other things that are not as like deep, but they still block us, right? So there's just a whole bunch of stuff that we can go through, and this will be a tool where we can sit on the sofa literally at home, not eating junk food, please, but then go through this process and just work through it and get it done and get it released. So I think it's going to be great. And yeah, so we're looking forward to that. We'll provide more
Wow.
information as we get closer to that, and how we'll roll it out.
Okay, thank you. Because I know people have been asking. I think you mentioned a trauma product a few videos ago, and people continue to ask about it. You can see that it's top of mind for a lot of folks, which is, it's sad that so many people are suffering from it. But what you just described is wonderful, and I'm really looking forward to that. And for anyone who's out there that may not, I'm a tinker. I study, research, read all the time. And if you want, there's a really interesting TED Talk out there on YouTube where it's a psychologist or psychiatrist talking about a study that was done, a very detailed study on actual how trauma can shorten your life. They did a study in like 17,000 people, and they showed that people who carry trauma with them live shorter lives and are more prone to disease. So trauma can affect you more than just ruin your day. It can affect your life, physical longevity. It is something that you need to take serious. Find a way to work with it however you can. But I'm really excited that this product's coming out. I think it'll be incredibly beneficial to so many people. But yeah, that's great. Okay,
I'd
so
be very interested in this study, actually.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll send you the
Maybe
link
if
to the video. Yeah, I just, because I have my other TG group, right? And so every now and then I jump in there and I do a little mini study and I post a bunch about just trying to share knowledge, right? And so I think it was like last week or something, I did a thing on mind viruses, um, and um, and I found that video and it was pretty amazing. But there's also the concept of a mind virus, which is another way. As another person who works with as a healer, they talk about trauma is a mind virus and how it affects your biofield and all of that, and how it affects your life. And I brought in the physical aspect of it with the TEDs, so I kind of did that, right, just to kind of really try to help people understand the importance of dealing with people's trauma. Because I don't know, well, this, right, as an adult male or male in our society, we're taught to bury everything, right? I mean, I'm sure as
yes.
a healer, you've worked with so many men, and we're all taught to just walk it off, shake it off, and we're not allowed to. Society does not allow us to express, whereas women typically it's acceptable. And so you've got a lot of men. I mean, a lot of men are carrying everything that ever happened to them their entire life, and they carry it with them their whole lives. And maybe I'm not just speculating. Maybe that's why men die sooner than women, because there's some correlation there, right? Because
Yeah.
men are taught not to deal with trauma. Men are taught to bury it and move on. And
That's
we all die sooner than women. Gee, what a surprise! So I think
yep,
it's something, yeah, very important. I think this will be a monumental service, and
definitely a good point. And then if we think about our kids, it's like these things we usually pass on to our kids as well.
oh
So
yeah,
that's something. So it's really, if we do the work, it's not only benefiting us, it's really also benefiting our kids.
yeah, oh yeah. There's a whole discussion on parenting and chi. Where does the original chi come from every time someone's born and all that. Yeah, how much you carry forward, all that stuff. But yeah, that's the thing I was trying to talk about was traumas. Like, and you mentioned it. It's like some of your traumas are not from this lifetime, and if you have an irrational fear that you have no basis for, yeah, you probably brought that with you into this lifetime. Like I have an irrational fear of high. Not I don't have fear of heights. I have a fear of falling from heights, and I don't know where because I know my entire life I never fell and I never fell down from anything high. But why do I feel that way? And it's beyond. It's terrifying to me. And yeah, and I'm all I could think of is, man, I must have brought that with me because I have no reason to be afraid of falling from heights.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like,
I share that one actually. I share that one. So yeah, so when Crew and I were in Italy, now this last summer, there's this one at the Amalfi Coast. There's this one hike. It's called the Path of the Gods, and it just sounded so absolutely amazing. And we said that we're going to do it. So we started at 6 a.m. in the morning, and but then you go up all the way, and it's literally there's no for about an hour there's nothing on the side, and it goes down like hundreds of meters, like straight in these cliffs. And
yeah,
in between I felt like I can't do it, I can't
oh
do it.
yeah,
But I did it eventually, and it felt really good, and I probably released some of that trauma while just going through it. But yeah, I know how this feels. It's so crazy. Yeah.
yeah. It's weird to be. Yeah, it's weird to have a trauma, like a panic attack or anxiety about something that you have no idea why, and then you
Yeah.
start doing the inner work and you realize like, oh, it's not mine, it's the last one, and I got to get rid of it, and then trying to do that kind of work. So, yeah, no, great. I'm really looking forward to this product. So, but that okay. So I know I want to be conscious of your time. I know you got a hard stop in just a few minutes. So, I just want to say, hey, thank you very much. That was a great update. Lots of really cool new features, new services, new products coming up. This is a great update. And I just want to say thank you, Philip, for your time this morning. I think it's so helpful for the community to be able to share this and keep everybody up to date and with all the latest news. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Kay. You're amazing.
Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm the conduit to keep the community going. Yeah, and so and thank God for Emma. That poor woman's overworked. Now that she's got two groups and we're fighting the spammers. I swear the spammers lately. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
There's so many fake Phillips. Hey, by the way, did you know that there was a fake Kelmer? I feel so like, and yeah, I do feel like so adored now because now they're actually, pretending they're spoofing me. And I think I hit the time because Emma was laughing. She's like, you really made it in the internet world when people start spoofing you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There's a fake Kelmer out there we had to kill, and but there's fake Phillips popping up all the time. So just a heads up in our Telegram chat room. We just want to remind you that nobody from Layla or even myself is going to reach out to you unless you asked a question or you asked us something, and we're responding directly to you. But normally we're not going to just pop in and say, "Hey, hi, how are you enjoying the service?" No, we're not going to do that. Those are spammers. So yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, if I get messages from people that just say hi or hello,
yeah. That's
I
usually
block, I go to the group right away, ban them, and block them, because no one does that just says hi or
right.
hello.
Exactly.
But I mean, if you send a real sentence, obviously that will never happen, right?
Yeah. No, I actually, as a moderator, I'm literally banning scammers. Like I'd say 3 to 5 a day. Sometimes it goes up to a dozen or two. Like we had a
Wow.
massive spam attack a couple weekends ago, and Em and I were throwing out like left and right. It was just like I think we got hit by a bot or something, and there was like about 24 to 30 fake accounts. We were just, and it was just this peak activity, and so it was crazy. But That's part of life, right? You're never going to have life without people out there trying to scam somebody. So heads up,
Yeah.
everybody. But you know what? That doesn't detract from enjoying the service, which is completely separate. We're talking just about Telegram. And we do want to, but it doesn't detract from join us on Telegram. If you got any questions about the quantum upgrade service, that's where you can reach us for questions and support and anything else. And so the links below to our quantum upgrade IO chat group on Telegram. Definitely come and join us. If you want to reach Philip, that's where you're going to find him. And then for me, I'm at the Tinkers Academy. I'm also in the chat group, but you can always find me. I have a blog where I basically post everything that I could post to support the Layla and support the Quantum Upgrade website. So I kind of have extra material there that they haven't had a chance to kind of fold into their website, plus all my other videos about it. So you can find out a lot about Quantum Upgrade and Quantum Layla Tech on my blog. So, come on over if you want to talk with me. I'm there, tinkers.academy. And then lastly, the one thing I do want to recommend for anyone out there that's on the fence and saying, hey, this is kind of pricey, blah, blah, blah. Hey, don't forget there's a free trial. Okay. So if you just want to try it, that's why there's a free trial. No one's asking anyone to do anything, that, you're going to lose money on. That this is not about that. This is about helping people. So that's why the free trial. I want to always emphasize that to everybody out there that, hey, definitely go try that. You can try it before you buy it and get a feel for it and go from there. Other than that, though, Philip, any parting words?
No, just a thank you to you. Thanks to Emma, and thanks to everyone in the community for participating, for asking questions, for providing answers and points of views. And it's just amazing to see. It's a great community, and yeah, I'm just very grateful.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Without you, we wouldn't be doing all these new features and ideas. So keep them coming. I guess it's like you got a big enough list right now. But hey, you know what? We welcome feedback. So thank you everyone out there for taking the time to watch the video. Thank you, Philip, and have a great day, everybody. Aloha.